Hi and welcome to my channel Glen. My name's Glenn and I like to discuss with you guys what's going on in the world of cryptocurrency. This is actually a bit of a return to old form for me. I haven't come back because all of a sudden Bitcoin's going up to all-time highs. I've actually been regularly doing videos, but on a iPhone live sort of format, which actually I don't actually like doing that much. That's why I've sort of held back doing it for a while. I actually lost access to my computer, so I had no computer. The only way I could actually do a YouTube video was to actually use my phone. So if you actually look back through my channel, I've got a load of live videos, which it was good because they're instant. You can instantly just upload and talk about whatever's the talking point on that day, but it's not very visually appealing to watch back on, and it was only typically good for people that are actually joining in with the live stream at that point in time, because they can interact with me, ask questions, and I can reply to them. To actually watch back on it when it's not live wasn't that good, so I didn't do them that often. It's not something that I've enjoyed. I end up rambling on like I am now and talking loads of crap. Hopefully with this sort of video format I can edit back some of the ramblings on. But today I wanted to just keep it nice and simple rather than discussing the actual price of Bitcoin too much, because there's plenty of technical analysis out there you know, that you can watch on their price. I'll give my thoughts later on, but what I was more interested in today was discussing the Bitcoin dominance. Now, I'm sure any of you that are watching this video are very aware of what the Bitcoin dominance is, but for someone who maybe is getting new into cryptocurrency and they're not quite sure what that means, I thought we'd actually just run through it quickly and have a look at where we're at and where we've come from. So currently there are a total on coin market cap of 2,391 different cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin being obviously one of those. But Bitcoin was the first one and is the most secure and has the biggest and longest standing ledger, with a total market cap of 262 billion. Now this has fluctuated up and down depending on the price of the different cryptocurrencies. But that sounds like such a huge number, but in actual real world terms, compared to other markets out there, this is a very tiny and small amount of investment compared to things like gold, which is in the sort of 7 to 9 trillion. You know, the retail and residential and obviously global GDPs. Bitcoin is relatively a small fish. But let's have a little look at the dominance. So how well does Bitcoin do against other cryptocurrencies? Now, when you go onto CoinMarketCap, you can actually select loads and loads of different coins, but I thought I'd just keep the main players on there. So we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, and then others. It just doesn't mean that I favoritize one coin over another, but they're typically like the big boys, if you like. They're the ones that have been going the longest amount of time, and they've gained traction more so against Bitcoin than the others. So if we look back at the earliest charts here, 95% Bitcoin dominance. This was back in June 2013. Obviously at one point Bitcoin was at 100% when it first was released to the world, when that's all you could trade. But then quite quickly Bitcoin started to fall off, people started creating different projects, and that's why they're all referred to as altcoins. They're all alternative coins to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's always been seen as the daddy of cryptocurrencies, if you like. So yeah, we've got 95 dominance there, Ethereum at 0, Litecoin at 3.8, and then others 0.24, 0.72 dominance. So yeah, very heavily favoured in Bitcoin's favour. And then as time's gone on, it sort of went up and down between the 80s and 95%. We had a big dip here at 78% back in December 2014, and you can actually see that XRP jumped up massively. It went from sort of 2% all the way to 13%. massive gain in a short period of time. And this sort of went on for a little while. Now I actually came into the space around about here when Bitcoin was just starting to go up into the sort of, if I remember correctly, sort of $5,000–7,000 mark per Bitcoin. So the time I came into it, out of the whole total market, now I came into the space around about October time, 2017. So Bitcoin was at about 50%, let's just round up and say 50%, and other coins were up to 13%. If we look back at the beginning when it was obviously at 0.72, jumped up massively. It actually equates to as much as Ethereum and well eclipses Litecoin and XRP. So that's all the other altcoins out there, all the little altcoins that are worth very small market cap. If you had them all up together, the other 2,000 coins, they picked up quite a bit of traction. Now at the time, people were looking for the next Bitcoin or the next Ethereum. So people were just sort of investing money left, right and center, different altcoins, different cycles. If there was any news released about one coin over another, so if they had like a hard fork, an ICO, if they'd teamed up with they'd created some new partnership, their price would just skyrocket, because people would see that, oh, this coin becoming the next Ethereum or the next Litecoin or the next Bitcoin, whatever. So we saw a massive jump up in altcoins, and a lot of people refer to this as altcoin season. Dominance of Bitcoin has slumped right off, so you see the highs there of 85% and slumped all the way down at one point to 38%, and even Ethereum got up to 31%. So at one point Ethereum was only about 6–7% away from overtaking Bitcoin. So what we started to see here was the price of Bitcoin really rocketing up. So it was heading to all-time highs, went to up to sort of $19,000–$20,000. And once it got to that, we saw a change, and this was when all the other coins really sort of gained traction against Bitcoin. So a lot of investors were cashing their Bitcoin out and converting it into something else, and we saw all sorts of projects come out, ones that were just flat out scams, and I'm not saying I'm immune to it. Obviously I was looking for bigger gains. For me personally, I wasn't looking at gaining the most US dollars. I wanted to gain more Bitcoin. That was my goal. I always wanted to accumulate more Bitcoin. And if you see Bitcoin dropping in price and another coin going up, it seemed better at the time to jump ship, ride that wave. So if we look here, as Bitcoin really slumps down in price, and in dominance, you see there it goes from 59, let's say 60%, and then it really slumped down all the way to 33%. So that means that the amount of money that was actually tied up in Bitcoin, sort of half of that money disappeared from Bitcoin and went into other coins. So if we look here, Ethereum was up to 17% on its own, Litecoin at 1.8%, XRP up to 11%, but the real silly season was the others. So we see here other coins being worth 23.99%. So 24% of the total market cap was in all these other 2,000 coins. And this is what is referred to as alt season. People cashing out their Bitcoin alternative coins. Some of these were just flat out scams. Some of these were just pump and dump coins that were specifically created for that. We've seen groups on WhatsApp and Telegram, Facebook, all just, you join up with them and they were telling you this coin is going to pump between the hours of this and this. And I'm not saying I was immune to any of that, because I did take part in some of those, and I gave them a try. You learn from doing, in my belief, but unfortunately in doing you also lose money. So at the time, what you want to do is you're on a wave, which is Bitcoin wave, and you see that wave sort of start to crash and you want to jump onto the next wave, so you're still riding high. So as you can see here, the wave, if you like, was with the other altcoins. All the others were dropping, whereas they were increasing. Now the goal was always to accumulate more Bitcoin. That was always my goal. I didn't want to particularly gain more fiat money. I didn't want to say, yes, my £100 or $100 is now worth $400 because I done this. I just wanted more Bitcoin. So I was always looking at the Satoshi value, if you like how much Bitcoin can I convert the others back into. So that was always my end goal. It almost became an easier and better way of gaining Satoshi value as opposed to mining. So we can see here that Bitcoin, as Bitcoin starts to rise, some of the other coins start to go down. So that's people converting their altcoins back into Bitcoin, and we saw the dominance rise, and then we've seen it fall, and since then, especially sort of 2019, we have seen Bitcoin dominance just rise and rise and rise, and all the other coins taper off. I mean, if we go to sort of where we're at today as of recording this video, Bitcoin's looking at sort of 65% dominance. You've got Ethereum at 8%, so compare that obviously back to the highs where Ethereum was at 31%. It's unbelievable actually to think about that. And also we have Litecoin, XRP, and then the others sort of at 16%. I still believe that's quite high actually for all the others. A lot of coins have proven over the last, especially last year, that they haven't delivered on what they promised. And essentially all they were doing was just looking for quick gains. So Bitcoin has always done its thing. It's always done what it says it does. It's on the tin, you know, sort of thing. All the others they promised, you know, partnerships with, I don't know, BMW, cars, the retail sector, the tech world, the online gamblers, the casinos, all these partnerships were meant to come on board. A lot of development was taking place, and what we've seen over the last year or so is just none of those things have actually come into it. We haven't seen cryptocurrency really sort of find its killer app, if you like, its niche, and everyone's starting to realize actually Bitcoin is probably the only coin really that has over a long period of time succeeded. So as of recording this video, it makes sense to have, if you are into cryptocurrency, your predominant holdings in Bitcoin. Now, I was chatting to one of my friends the other day, and obviously over the course of the last, it's coming up for 2 years now, I can't believe that I've been in this cryptocurrency space and doing YouTube videos about them. Obviously I've seen the rise and fall of mining, I've seen the rise and fall of altcoin season, and I've seen the rise and fall of the Bitcoin dominance. If I think back to obviously where I joined into the space, you had a lot of people that were saying, you know, just buy Bitcoin and hold, you know, hodl. That's the best strategy going forward. Bitcoin's always going to go back up. And that actually rang true more than any other advice that I've learned in this crypto. I can't deny that. I can't say, yeah, they were wrong, because, you know, yeah, there were quicker gains to be made on any particular day. But if you actually look back at it, if you joined into cryptocurrency at any point, you were just better off to hold Bitcoin long-term wise. If you traded altcoins between, say, there and there, then yeah, you made a good gain. And if you're a really sort of clever investor, you probably would have done that and come out of it the right side up. But for a lot of retail investors that don't understand cryptocurrencies, don't understand the Bitcoin dominance, this can really, really hinder you. It can really sort of catch you out, because we see a lot of these coins just really plummet in value. I mean, today's a bad day in particular, but if we look at, say, and I'm not being sort of out of order to any coins at the moment, but say like this slump here. Now, if you joined in Dash with just the mentality of, oh look, this one's going up in value, I'll jump on board with this to gain some more Bitcoin, or whether you just want to grow your wealth, You can see here, look at this massive drop off a cliff. It's literally like dropping off a cliff. And that's where you're going to lose, you know, 30–40% of your overall wealth. If I put £1,000 in that and that sort of happens on any given day, you know, you've lost 20–30% of your total investment. So yeah, it's really tricky. So typically at the moment, the best strategy once again is to buy Bitcoin, hold on to it. If you're like me and you have the mentality that Bitcoin will sort of rise up higher levels than what we're at now, and I still to this day, I can't see Bitcoin not getting to $100,000 at some point. It may not be spot on that figure, but it could be 80,000, 90,000, whatever. I can see Bitcoin getting to those sort of levels. So where we're at now, at Bitcoin being at 9,500, say, dollars per coin, it seems like a really good time to invest. Bitcoin may drop down again, it may go up a bit, it may go down, it may have another bull run at some point, it may drop down to $1,000. But if you're looking at long term, if you're thinking, right, I want to put my money somewhere and I don't really want to touch it for sort of 3 to 5 years at least, Bitcoin's the one to do it in. A lot of people may comment on this video down below. You may see some comments saying things like, no, XRP's got 1,000 times gain, or, you know, Stella's going to partnership up with so-and-so and so-and-so, IBM, Cardano, Tron, Monero. You know, Tron was looking really good. I'm rambling now. Tron was looking really good not so long ago, literally a couple of months ago, when the lead creator of Tron actually paid millions of pounds to have a meal with Warren Buffett, and then didn't turn up for it because he was potentially being arrested and being accused of, was it money laundering or something? I don't know. But what a message to send out to Warren Buffett. The person who's paid for your time is actually involved in illegal activity. So not a good advertisement for the space. But the things that really interest me at the moment, and I don't know whether you know, watching this video, how heavily you sort of follow Bitcoin. I read stories about Bitcoin and what is going on in the press all day, every day. Like throughout my day, even though I'm not uploading YouTube videos, I'm always reading and watching videos and looking up articles and chatting to the guys in the team BitGlen, which you can be a part of. The link to it is in the description down below. We chat every single day, even though cryptocurrency has taken a dive in popularity, if you like, since when I first joined. I'm still super interested in the space, and I've got a team of about 100 guys on the Telegram group chat, and they're all just as excited about cryptocurrency as me. Some of it are in just for the money sort of side of it, some are into the tech, some are into the mining. But if you look at Bitcoin, it's clear to me it can't be stopped. This is something that I've really been thinking a lot about. When I first got involved in this space, it was mentioned a lot, especially by Bitcoin maximalists. Bitcoin can't be shut down. Bitcoin can't be monitored. It can't be overridden by governments. You can't, you know, you can't shut down a server. You can't ban it. And we're seeing tests like this all the time. China tried to ban Bitcoin. And to sort of get your thoughts about that, I was watching a video earlier about how if America was to decide to stop, ban US citizens from being able to buy and sell Bitcoin through exchanges or through Coinbase in particular, try and get rid of the off-ramp side of it, on and off ramps, places where you can convert your cash into Bitcoin, that would kill Bitcoin off. Bitcoin would be worth nothing, and it would go into this sort of being used for the dark web, if you like. And China have tried this. Now China have it's really hard, it's hard to put into words, but China have such control over their citizenship. They control, they have a massive firewall with their internet. They don't allow the Chinese citizens to read or to gain access to some of the articles that we have access to, where it might be negative towards the government, or it may promote an agenda that the government doesn't want to have a rising in. So massive control there. And they also have quite a stronghold on their people as well. You know, a lot of Chinese people, and I don't mean to generalize, but typically if you was to expect one country to sort of follow suit and stay in line with what their government says, it's probably China, if I'm being fair. And that still didn't stop it. And then China had to release the ban, and there was actually you know, someone from the Chinese embassy came out and said, we've really tried to stop this thing and we can't. Now, if you get countries like, you know, America and the UK and Europe, a lot of, you know, if they was to release a law that said, right, you can't be involved in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, there's a lot of defiant people. There'll be a lot of people that would be like, yeah, do you know what? The government have told me I can't do this, so I'm going to do it. You look at cannabis, you know, obviously cocaine, weed, crack, and all alcohol abuse, you know, all these things. Obviously, the government tell you can't do. Tax evasion, you know, all sorts of things going on, and people try and defy the government at many levels. So Bitcoin, if people told them, right, you can't have it, that's not going to slow down much how much people want the thing and how much they're going to sort of find a workaround, find a loophole to get hold of it. Whereas you would say in China, that's probably less so true, but they still did it. So the American government have actually come out and said, do you know what, actually, we don't think we can stop this thing because China have failed. What hope have we got? Now this sends me a strong signal. At this point, there's nothing really sort of stopping Bitcoin. I may be wrong. Maybe there'll be a hack one day. Maybe there'll be a total shutdown of the hash rate, the network, or something may happen, and I could be proven wrong. But at this point, it seems that there's no stopping Bitcoin. It's just Bitcoin is becoming better and better, more accessible to more people around the world, easier to use, easier to understand. If I think of where we came from in 2017 to where we're at now, the space has got better. Me and the guys were chatting in the Telegram group chat the other day, and I was saying, look, is there any other way of buying Bitcoin other than Coinbase? And people were coming up with the Cash App and Exodus, Robinhood, loads of different ways of buying into it. Obviously you have all these stable coins now, so there's a lot of workarounds and a lot of different ways of doing it. So the space is only becoming more and more accessible. So to me, this is a good sign, and these tests that keep coming up, Bitcoin just keeps going. There's no stopping it. It's just relentless. It just continues and continues and continues. And no matter what the news that comes out, the money making scams that come out, the ups and downs of mining, it just seems like Bitcoin is continuously rising. So what does that say for the future? Bringing it back to how I started this video, in my belief, we can see this continuation of Bitcoin dominance going up, and actually the drop off of some of these coins continuously going down. A lot of people don't realize that when you actually look at the price of some of these coins, so let's just refresh this page so I'm really up to date. So Bitcoin's at $9,500. We've got Ethereum up to $208, sorry, and XRP up to 31 cent. When you're looking at these rise and falls in these coins, unless you can actually convert your dollars or your cents, your pounds, your euros straight to that coin. So if you go on to say Coinbase or an app like that, if you was able to just go on and buy, let's just say Bitcoin SV, I'll just use that, or a Stellar or Cardano, if you can buy fiat to that, then yeah, that is what that thing is worth. So it's worth $150. But actually the real world use, how you get hold of that Bitcoin SV or Stellar or Cardano is you have to buy your fiat into Bitcoin, then you have to exchange your Bitcoin to that coin, and then if you ever want to cash back out the other way, you have to convert your Bitcoin SV back into Bitcoin and then Bitcoin back into fiat. So these are only what they're worth against Bitcoin and then the sort of dollar equivalent. I don't know if you can get your head around that. So let's just change this chart here to what these coins are worth against. And you can see there the figures all change. Some of them are up, some of them are down. So if we look at, say, Tether, obviously that's a stable coin, it's probably a bad example. But if we look at Monero, if you was to cash your Monero in for Bitcoin, you'd actually be almost 2% up than you were yesterday. But if you was to, say, cash out Ethereum, you'd actually be 1% down. So this is where the real value of exchange is. This is the figures that you should be looking at, what these coins are worth against Bitcoin. Again, another sign that says to me, Bitcoin's the one. Bitcoin's the daddy, Bitcoin's the, you know, all these other coins are just, you're just using them to hopefully gain more Bitcoin, which says to me that the right course of action is to just skip that out completely and just buy Bitcoin. So there you go. I've been rambling on for half an hour. And I finally got to my point of the video. Bitcoin dominance is on the rise. All the altcoins are dying off very, very slowly. That's not to say they'll come back. I'm sure they will. And we may see that this top 10 here next year may be completely different coins. We may see coins all the way from sort of 500 wherever on the coin market cap listings sort of join the top 10 because these are getting to a value now where they're worth very, very little Bitcoin, you know, Satoshi value, if you like. So if we look at, say, Litecoin, one Litecoin is worth 0.0093 Satoshis. If we look at, say, Bitcoin SV, 0.015. Very small amounts, Stellar, very, very tiny amounts of Bitcoin value. So it wouldn't take a lot for a new coin to come along, create some buzz and gain traction against Bitcoin and just plow through this list here. And once it's up here, its value against Bitcoin, the US dollar equivalent of that Bitcoin would make that coin appear like it's gained massive value in US dollars. So just be wary of that. That seems to be the way forward. So we may see that in the future, coins going up into this top 10 that we've never ever heard of, but the overall lesson here is that Bitcoin is king. Bitcoin has the best dominance, Bitcoin is the safest, Bitcoin is the most transparent. I just can't say enough good things about Bitcoin. So if you're getting into the world of cryptocurrency, 2 years ago Glenn would have said, oh yeah, buy Litecoin because it's gone up $100 this month. Forget all of that. It's just to buy Bitcoin and hold on to it 3 to 5 years. If you want to trade and gain more Bitcoin, it's very, very tricky because the only way that these coins typically are going up is when Bitcoin goes up. So if Bitcoin went up 5% today and Ethereum went up 4%, you may think, oh yeah, that's really good, but actually you've lost 1%. You've lost 1% as if you just bought Bitcoin in the first place and held on to that. It's only in sort of rare cases like, say, Eunice said Leo, that's gained 3% against Bitcoin, but then look at these massive swings. So then you're sort of almost just betting on red or black. So the best bet, the most logical strategy is to buy Bitcoin and hold on to it. Some of you may be watching this video saying, Glenn, that's really obvious. But I just thought I'd look back, obviously, because I haven't done a video like this in such a while, sort of go through what I've learned to share with you, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Please comment down below whether you agree with me, disagree with me, if you want to disprove anything that I've just said, or if you just generally Or if you want to, you can join the Telegram group chat. Again, the link to it is in the description down below. Click it, download the Telegram app for free, and just join in with the BitGlen conversation, and we can have a conversation between me and several others about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So I'll see you guys there, and I'm going to be doing a live stream video tomorrow with Team BitGlen. So there's going to be hopefully me and a load of others chatting about cryptocurrency live tomorrow. It'll probably be a longer video, like an hour and a half long video, because they always seem to go on almost like a podcast, if you like, where I'll try and get the other guys to join in the conversation as well. So if you want to be a part of that, subscribe to this channel, click the like button, and you'll see notifications for tomorrow when we go live. It will be around this sort of time tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers guys, bye.